from Gillette Stadium. The Colts and the Patriots both coming in here 6-3. Patriots leading the AFC East. Meantime, Indianapolis second position right now in the AFC South. All this talk about Luck and Brady in the same game. And first up, we're going to see Luck on the field because the Patriots won the coin toss and have elected to defer to the second half. Jim Nance along with Phil Simms. Hello, friends. Good to have you with us. And this is a game we've been looking forward to all week long.
Yeah, we have been. And you said it, such a build-up for Andrew Luck. And I'll tell you, it's well-deserved. When you watch this offense, they are aggressive. We're going to see it right from the start. They like to throw the football down the field. Let's find out if New England can stop it.
Did you ever imagine that we'd see Indianapolis at this point of the season at 6-3? Not many people did.
Well, I don't know anybody that did, but they deserve it.
Today's game being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. Zipikowski waiting for Gostowski to kick it away and get things started here. Indianapolis and New England meeting for the 10th consecutive year. And you think of all those years with all the talk about Brady and Manning and so many important occasions when they met in the playoffs. Well, now it's a new era on the one side at Indianapolis, and you're going to get a chance to see it here today. As Gostowski boots it deep, Zipikowski takes a knee. So we'll see young Andrew Luck come out here. Already through 9 games, the most passing yards of any rookie quarterback in the history of the league. His line, Costanzo on one side, Justice on the other. He missed the last game against Jacksonville with a knee, but he's back. And Wayne leads the NFL in receiving with 69 catches. Could go over 1,000 today with 69 yards receiving. Vic Ballard gets the starting call at running back, the rookie from Mississippi State. And a quick little wide receiver screen, put it in the hands of Wayne, his 70th catch. And he's brought down by Talib, who just came over to the Patriots this week. A gain of 7. Here is the New England defense. They know how to force takeaways. They've got the best margin in the league. Jones, the rookie, having a fine year. Spike's fined $25,000 this week for a hit last week on Fitzpatrick. And there he is, in on the first tackle. Aqib Talib, picked up this week for a 4th-round pick in a trade with Tampa. 2nd down and 3. The Colts, winners of 4 in a row. A good play-action fake and rolling out of the pocket. It's a little toss to the rookie tight end, Dwayne Allen, and he's about a yard short of the first. Picks up 2.
As you look at this game today, I know this New England defense, their number one key, we want to keep Andrew Luck in the pocket because once he gets outside of containment, he looks down the field, and one of the best things he does is throw the football on the run.
And he can keep it and run with it as well. He's the best rushing quarterback on the AFC side. It's 3rd and 1. Donald Brown lined up as the tailback out of the eye, and they'll go fullback instead. And it's Robert Hughes with his first carry of the season. And it picks up the first on a gain of 5. All right, Bill, take it to us.
Well, let's just talk about some of the things they love to do. Andrew Luck gets deep drops on play-action passes, gives those wide receivers a lot of time to get down the field. He steps up in the pocket very, very well. That's why New England, keep him in that pocket, keep guys in front of him so he can't step up to make those throws.
Bruce Arians at 5-1 since filling in for Chuck Pagano as of October the 1st. And they hand it off with Ballard. Patriots bid on the possible end around, and Ballard breaks off a big run that time.
Yeah, we talk about the end arounds, and it's a big part of the offense for the Indianapolis Colts. They like to fake it with T.Y. Hilton, so you're worried about the outside edges. Don't let them get out there and run it. Here's the fake. Here comes the reverse, and look at that hole inside. Good job. Samson Satelli, Joe Wright, the left guard, both getting good blocks.
And that picked up 20. 2 tight ends in. Wesley Saunders along with Dwayne Allen. They've had 4 different players touch the ball through the first 4 snaps. And now repeat carry for Ballard, and this time Mayo comes up to Pulled him to a yard. Ninkovich also.
We had a chance to talk to Bruce Arians last night. Hey, look, there's no doubt. Bruce Arians likes to throw the football. The Indianapolis Colts throw it 62% of the time in the first half of their games so far this year. He goes, look, I want to just keep that defense honest. Hope we run it well enough to make them think we will try to run. But what they're doing, they're looking for opportunities to throw it down the field.
2nd down and 9. Looking down the field, looking for Avery. Avery, the speedster, is open, and there's a flag for sure. Thrown against Arrington. And had he not interfered, it probably would have been a touchdown.
Well, when you say speedster, just include everybody on this Colts offense. Fast running backs, a lot of fast young wide receivers, and the veteran who can do it all.
Pass interference, defense, number 24. Hook and turn to the receiver. Automatic first down, spot as foul.
And Reggie Wayne down the field. Avery really coming back from injuries, and he is fast. Good play action fake. We saw Andrew Luck get deep. It gave him time to look deep. Throws it over the top of the defense and gets the pass interference.
It's a 40-yard penalty and a 1st and goal to go. Kyle Miller in motion here, the tight end. Goes to Ballard, who cuts outside, and Ballard fights for the goal line, and they do not give him the touchdown. They mark him down inside the 1.
Looks like they want to run this football left. Another time, good blocks. And Bruce Arians again said, I think we can take running plays, take them inside, and bounce them out. And is Ballard in here for the touchdown?
Got to be a knee
there
down.
There it is, knee down. Good mark, 1 yard line.
They've only had 2 rushing touchdowns by running backs. That's the fewest in the league. Almost got number 3. Extra lineman in, Shipley on 2nd and goal. That's Carter. And Carter's in for the touchdown. So just the 3rd time this year a running back takes it in. It's the 2nd occasion this year for Carter. DeLon Carter.
Well, we heard
on the Arrington interference call.
He's a short yardage running back and on the goal lines. And Jim, how about that move, Carter? It was stopped inside and never misses a beat. Boom, kicks it outside and gets in there untouched. Everybody has a role. How about the blocking? Dwayne Allen, the tight end, first-year player, excellent blocker at the line of scrimmage.
How about that little 80-yard drive? Extra point good by Vinatieri. 7 plays.
Well, it's not only they went 80 yards, it's how they did it. So they had some good run game in there. They got their wide receiver, Reggie Wayne, involved, and they showed this New England defense, look, we're going to try to get it over the top of you. They got the deep pass interference call. And New England's got to go to the sidelines thinking, well, once again, our pass defense, we got to find ways to fix it.
Well, I know you were anxious to see, and it's too early to draw any conclusions how much Talib could help things as far as defensive schemes with him joining the Patriots for the first time this week.
Well, we didn't see any footballs thrown his way. And what you think about Aqib Talib, well, he allowed that defense maybe to try some different coverages to attack offenses in a different way. If he's able to cover a wide receiver one-on-one and free up another defender to help out the rest of the guys.
You know, Carter takes it the final yard after Ballard did a lot of the work, and Carter will be in here on kick coverage now. Bruce Arians, the coach, telling us he liked what he has been saying out of Carter, and he's able to score the touchdown. McCourty now on the return. McCourty meets a couple of Colts at the 18 and falls to the 19, where he's tackled by Brazil. Just an 18-yard run back. Tom Brady again posting sensational numbers, 6-to-1 ratio, touchdowns to picks, 18-3. Now take note, both guards are out today. Mankins and Connolly both inactive with injuries, so Thomas and McDonald will get the start. And then you've got Gronkowski, who scored 3 touchdowns last year in a matchup on this field against the Colts. 2 by pass and 1 by rush. First play is a run by Ridley, and he bounces off a hit and falls straight ahead for 4. Redding has the only sacks on that defensive front. He has 2. The former Raven. By the way, big story here. Mathis and Freeney are both healthy. This has not been something we've seen all season. And in that secondary, the former Patriot, Darius Butler, had 3 takeaways in the game against Jacksonville last week. 2 picks, 1 fumble recovery. 2nd down and 6. Woodhead split as a receiver. Brady on the other side. And that was in the area of Welker. Double covered there by Bethea. And Zipikowski as well.
Let's don't forget, Chuck Pagano, our head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, was a defensive coordinator last year for the Baltimore Ravens. And if you look over last year, who was maybe the best team defending this New England offense? It probably was the Baltimore Ravens. So they got some of those thoughts. Keep it simple. Be aggressive at the line of scrimmage. And see if you can give your pass rush enough time to get to Tom Brady.
3rd and 6. And that's a first down catch by Edelman. Now to the 42-yard line. Brought down by Freeman. Gain of 18.
And Jim, you know, when you talk about this Patriots offense, what's the key? Can you stop the inside passing game? We heard it from the Colts. Julian Edelman is fast. And Josh Gordy not able to stay with him going across the field. That's what we talked about. Can you cover him tight enough to give Freeney, Mathis just that extra beat to get to Tom Brady?
A 3rd and 6 conversion. Brady now play action down to Gronkowski. Bouncing off tackles. And finally taken down at the 22. Zipikowski ends it after a 36-yard hookup.
Well, they love it. Here comes Gronkowski, just going to go down the field right here. A seam pass, and this is one of the favorite throws by Tom Brady in this offense. They're going to challenge you every game, and how about that throw into a tight spot?
Boy, and they hurry to the line and give it to Ridley, who falls straight ahead for another 4.
Yeah, they can be quick, and that's, Greg Minuski, defensive coordinator, Bruce Arians, head coach. They talk about the game. You worry about your defense. And here's the big reason, Jim. The speed, the tempo. And they admitted it. You can't practice it. You just got to be ready for it and be mentally tough to just hang in there and grind out the plays.
Shane Vereen in at running back. On 2nd and 6. And it's Gronkowski with a flag down. Bounced out by Zipikowski near the 3. John Perry is the official here today, the referee, with a 16-yard play hold up.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 32, penalties decline, resulting play, first down.
So 2 big pass plays to Gronkowski on this drive.
Yeah, they made that last play look very easy, Jim. It's what you call a back shoulder throw. Throw it to the receiver, even though he's covered, throw it behind him. And Gronkowski, even though he's 6'6", makes a nice adjustment right there. I've seen the Patriots make that throw or try that throw more and more, and they're getting good at it.
1st and goal now. New England trying to march right down and match the Colts with an opening drive touchdown. The toss to Ridley, and Ridley knocked back, maybe a loss of a yard. Jarrell Freeman as well as Mwala in on that.
Well, you talk about this defense. It's about speed. So if you go outside, that's a tough spot to go. So they're trying to catch them off guard. Did not work that time.
Well, Mathis has missed a lot of action this season. Freeney as well. But that old combination, it is so dangerous. They've only been on the field together about 3 total quarters this year. 2nd and goal.
53.
Brady to the end zone, and it's Gronkowski for the touchdown.
Well, it's a good answer by the New England Patriots, and Rob Gronkowski just kind of fools Cabell Connor. He just takes his time. He goes up the field at the last second. He breaks outside very quickly. Cabell Connor not ready for the quick throw.
Gronkowski again, 3 touchdowns last year in a game against the Colts. He caught 3 balls on that first series, including the 4-yarder for the score. Gostowski ties it at 7.
That's the one thing I noticed when you watch these New England receivers, Jim. They run a lot of short routes, so they dress them up a lot of different ways. They take off fast, run fast, they go slow. Then at the cut, they take off, and it's just a way of mixing it up to keep the defensive backs, linebackers off guard.
You know, last year the Colts suffered through a 2-14 season, and they were down big going into the last quarter here at New England, and they ended up putting up quite a fight. They were down 31-3 before losing by only 7. But this is Gronkowski's day. The 3 touchdowns, 7 receptions, 2 scores, and one of them got adjusted. He said it's a backwards pass, so it goes in the books as a rush touchdown, the only one of his career. Now Brady with another touchdown throw here today. 42 consecutive games with at least 1 touchdown pass. That's 3rd all time. You got Breeze taking over that record earlier this year from Johnny Unitas. Brady's moving in on the Unitas numbers, just 4 games away now.
Well, they do it so many ways. Their offense is so diverse. The tempo we talk about, the play action pass, all the screens they like to throw, which we haven't seen yet today.
Well, you thought it might be a shootout, Phil. Has the makings of it after those 2 opening series. Zipikowski this time will get a chance to run one out, but not for very far. Swamped at the 17-yard line by Derek Martin.
Well, Jim, let's go back and look at the touchdown run. Carter inside, nothing there. And how about that quick jump start? Gets outside and almost goes untouched in the end zone. The Colts running backs, 3 of them. They all play a nice role. They're all very talented. And we said it already, the Colts offense, what's it about? Hey, it's about speed. They have a lot of it on their side.
From the 16, good fake. Luck with time. Works the middle, and McCourty almost had a play on the pick after having the game-saving interception last week against Buffalo. To get the latest news, analysis, and predictions from Pat Kerwin, Pete Prisco, and other CBS Sports experts, watch Pro Football 360 live weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern or on demand, cbssports.com/Pro Football 360.
Jim, that last play is one of the Colts' favorites. You got to be careful and disciplined when you're playing safety for the New England Patriots. People will run by you across, hold your ground, and wait for the next guy to come in your area. That's what they did on that last long throw.
And 2nd and 10. Hilton out to the 29. A good-looking rookie out of Florida International, able to pick up 13 and a first.
Well, T.Y. Hilton, his name is Eugene, in case you wonder what T.Y. stands for. But when you watch the screens by the Indianapolis Colts, if it reminds you of the Pittsburgh Steelers, well, don't forget, Bruce Arians was the Steelers offensive coordinator last year, and their wide receiver screens are very good to smaller, quick, fast receivers.
And Hilton is fast. In fact, this whole fleet of receivers, you could say that. Wayne, of course, a little longer in the tooth. That's Ballard with a run for 9. He got away from Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, he did. Ballard is a big running back, rookie from Mississippi State. Now, every rookie they drafted on the offensive side this year, Jim, is just getting it done. Vince Wilfork, big, athletic, not able to get his arms around him. But they got this defense. You know, they talked about it. They think that New England defense is big, not fast, so let's get them moving side to side, and then when we take it upfield, we should get some good yards.
Already with 40 rushing yards in the early going, 2nd down and 1. And that'll pick up a first as Ballard tumbles for 3.
You know what I like about what they do on the offensive side? I don't think you see enough of this in the NFL. If the play works, what do? Let's call it again. that was back-to-back same plays by the Colts offense.
Chandler Jones, the rookie out of Syracuse, needs a little attention by the training staff.
There, he's another guy, rookie, first-round draft pick, has had a solid year so far. Well, this game, you're just sitting here thinking about it, Jim. How many rookies have come in for both of these teams and had an impact where they right away thrown into the action and not playing like rookies, that's for sure.
No, obviously this guy right here, Luck and Hilton on the other side, and Vic Ballard, who's running the football so effectively so far for Indianapolis.
A good case in point. The Colts had a game-winning drive a couple weeks ago against the Miami Dolphins. On offense, they had 7 first-year players out there in that game-winning drive. That's not even counting their second-round draft pick, Fleener, a tight end from Stanford.
Well, he kind of shakes that one off, and we'll walk to the sideline. We've got an update. Let's go back to the studio in New York.
Jacksonville giving the Texans all they can handle.
Yeah, Jacksonville, 33-yard field goal on their first possession, and Max Houston's, it now becomes true sudden death with 4:13 to go in overtime.
Back to Jim Nance. Phil Simms.
Thank you, JB. Coach Cowher, how about this? 3 overtime games in the early window today. One of them already going final with Tampa over Carolina. What a comeback there by the Bucs. Meanwhile, the Browns and Cowboys still going after it, as well as you saw Jacksonville and Houston. 1st and 10 here for Indianapolis. And that's a pass to Avery, backed up by Dennard after he picks up 5.
You talked about Donnie Avery. That's what they like about him. You say, oh, we keep talking about speed receivers. Sometimes when you say that, they go, well, that means they just like to run deep. But not Donnie Avery, learning to catch those passes underneath, taking the hits, knowing there's a lot of people once you go inside against defenses.
2nd and 4. And the Patriots were ready to pounce right off the snap, and they get to Ballard in the backfield. Mayo and Ninkovich send him back 3 yards.
Well, you could see Spikes, Brandon Spikes was just flying forward at the snap of the ball because he realizes when there's 2 tight ends in the game, like the Colts have in there right now. Look at 55, how quick he was, and then the rest of the defense holds up. It's a really dominant run formation by this Colts offense.
3rd and 7. Luck gets rid of it, and that is a catch by Brazil. A flag is out. Levon Brazil for 25 yards. He had Talib on him.
Coverage was good.
Pass, holding, defense, number 24. Penalty will be declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
Second time there's been a call against Arrington, but they'll refuse it, and a play will hold up for a big one.
There's a hold inside on Arrington to throw up top against Talib. He had excellent coverage, but the throw was very good by Andrew Luck. Threw it behind Brazil. He makes the adjustment, and they're excited about Brazil too, the Colts offense, because he can run but also catches the football very well.
He's another rookie out of Ohio University. That's his longest catch of this first season for him. 5 completions to 5 receivers and a 1st down after the 25-yard pickup, and Ballard again is met early, this time held to 1 by Ninkovich.
I think when you look at this game too, Jim, you talked about it right there at the start. This Colts team may be as healthy as we've seen them in a long time, maybe all year long on the defensive side, but you said it, getting Winston Justice back, Samson Satelli, the center. Sometimes when you get your offensive line, it just gets back together. The defensive line of the Patriots hopes to take advantage of that until they get in rhythm.
It's 2nd and 9. And the draw to Ballard. The throw, and Ballard has a 1st down. And this rookie is off to a big start. That's 15 more for Ballard.
Yeah, it is, and it's just the outside draw. They love this play. It's probably the second best run they have, and they go out there. What they want to do, get you in space. Mayo not able to get the tackle once he's blocked. And that is what hurts this New England defense. Runs like that where they spread you out and throwing the football against the linebackers inside to the tight ends and running backs.
And the fake and Luck to the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. T.Y. Hilton from the back of the end zone with the newcomer Talib on the coverage.
How about this throw? They get in a bunch formation, then they spread. They got Talib on an outside technique, and what a throw by Andrew Luck. Driving in there low where only your receiver can catch it, and he is inbounds.
Man, is that absolutely a strike.
It was a strike. It was a tremendous formation. It made the defense play outside, so the defense plays outside the receiver. They throw it inside.
T.Y. Hilton with his third touchdown of his rookie season. And the extra point is good. We've had 3 touchdown drives total in the 3 possessions, all covering at least 80 yards.
Well, Jim, let's just go back. So much of it. What a great throw and catch by Luck. But here's what happens. Since they're in here tight, Talib has to stay outside, the outside receiver, who is T.Y. Hilton. So he's got good position. The safety has to take the inside receiver. Now look at the throw by Andrew Luck. Drives it into the back of the end zone. Well designed. And how close. Talib all over the receiver twice, but 2 good throws and catches by Andrew Luck and his wide receivers.
Boy, it's a rough way to debut. He, like you said, it's not like he was out of position, but they pick up one first down on a 25-yard play on 3rd down with Talib on the coverage, and then, of course, the touchdown to Hilton.
Well, what they did, the formation is what really drove everything. So it put the defense in a position where the weakness was back of the end zone and inside, and they made the play.
And McCourty, second time to run one out. Actually from a yard out, he gets to the 25. And he's met there by a former Patriot, Sergio Brown. Let's go back to James Brown and the coach in New York with an update.
Dallas is winning field goal.
Yeah, Dan Bailey from 38 yards out is going to score this with 6:14 to go into overtime, and Dallas escapes 23-20 over Cleveland.
That they did, Coach. Back to Jim Nance. Phil Simms.
All right, thank you, guys. That's really, in many ways, a season-saving victory for the Cowboys. They could have fallen to 4-6, and they come back from 13-0 down in the second half to win it. And Brady goes right side, and that was in the area of Brandon Lloyd. Let's go right back to the studio, JB and Coach Cowher.
And here's how Houston got it done.
Unbelievable. Andre Johnson, Matt Schaub, 48 yards. He's going to go all the way. Andre Johnson on the day, 14 catches, 273 yards, and Houston escapes 43-37 in overtime.
Jacksonville gave them all they could handle. Back to Jim Nance and Phil Simms. I heard you the first time.
Wow. How about that? Houston was down 14 in that game. What a spectacular comeback victory, and a big day, to say the least, by Andre Johnson. Second down and 10, and from behind, Brady was able to get it away in time to Lloyd. Somehow got it away before Freeney was able to get to the football, or the quarterback, or both.
Dwight Freeney, top of the screen, is cut down by Nate Solder, gets right back up and almost knocks it down. Watch how he recovers so fast. I thought he had Tom Brady from behind, just misses that right arm. 2 pass rushes in a row by Dwight Freeney.
Third down and 2, and that goes for a first with Wes Welker. Gain of 12 for Welker.
It's almost impossible. We talk about it. You get close to Tom Brady, but watch. Catch, look, throw. 2 crosses underneath. He just waits, see which one gets open, and always trust Wes Welker, right?
3 down.
He's been doing it for so many years here, these 100-catch seasons, and on pace for another one. Greg Salas is into the game, just brought up yesterday as they cut Deion Branch on Saturday. 1st and 10, throw. Edelman can't hold on to it. Yeah, it was an interesting roster move yesterday. They brought Salas up from the practice squad, a player they had traded for right at the beginning of the season. Josh McDaniels familiar with him from his days at the Rams. And then they, for the second time this year, cut Deion Branch, the former Super Bowl MVP. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms here at Gillette Stadium. Want to welcome the audience that saw that comeback victory. The Texans winning in overtime against Jacksonville. This one's a wild start here as Edelman picks up the first down in the closing seconds of the first quarter. We've had 3 touchdown drives in this game and 3 possessions, all covering at least 80 yards.
Well, they got this play. They smell it out. They're not fooled at all, but you got to make the tackle. Darius Butler goes up in there, misses the tackle. Nobody behind him to help him out.
After 1, Colts lead at 14-7. You're watching the NFL on CBS. .241 yards of offense in that first quarter. If you're a dome team and you come to a place like Gillette, you bring the hats, the hand warmers, the gloves. It's again 40 and temperature falling here under clear skies in Foxborough.
So what's wrong with that? We're in the booth. We live in the Northeast. I do, and I got all that stuff with me.
Yes, you do. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms starting the second quarter with a throw here to Vereen with a flag down back in the area where the ball was caught. How about that first quarter? We may not see the punters out there on any situation today other than
Number 77, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Rather than holding on the field goals and extra points.
Well, I'll say this. I was anxious to see today's game to see which defense maybe had an answer to the other's offense. And so far, what really stands out, both quarterbacks getting lots of time to throw the football. Tom Brady, everybody talks about, let's keep pressure on him, let's stay inside, but nobody can do it. What New England does on offense, they're great at.
On 1st and 20, it's Vereen scooting ahead down to the 41, gain of 8. Let's go back to JP and Coach Cowher.
Tampa got it done in OT, Coach.
This was the opening drive there for Kim, who never saw the ball. A little out and up, Dallas Clark from Josh Freeman. Opening drive, score, game over. Tampa, 4-game winning streak, 27-21.
Jim Nantz, Phil Simms.
So Carolina, Jacksonville, Cleveland, all in the end blow double-digit leads and lose in overtime. Kind of the way their seasons have been going. 2nd down and 12. As Walker makes the catch down to the 33. In this game here, everybody just marching right down the field. 80-yard drive by the Colts, ending on a Carter 1-yard touchdown run. Didn't take the Patriots very long to get back to the end zone with Gronkowski, and then Luck to Hilton. But they've got a 3rd and 4 after that completion to Welker. Ball being snapped at the Colts 33.
Read it! 58!
Another first down. 2nd catch by Brandon Lloyd. Josh Gordy on the coverage. Gain of 10.
Well, Tom Brady's in the shotgun. He knew right away when the coverage is off. That time Gordy gives Brandon Lloyd that little extra time or space. Tom Brady knew from the snap he was going to throw it to him. Wes Welker double covered that time. So a good pre-snap decision by Tom Brady.
Edelman able to dart ahead through a little crack there, picks up 5. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Lara Logan's investigation into a drug super cartel and an eye-opening report from Armin Katayan on America's top college football programs. Tonight on 60 Minutes, only CBS.
Armin Katayan, I saw him up here today's game on the field before. Did you know Armin's an ex-college shortstop? Really good baseball player.
Hey, no.
Didn't know that, but he was a great sideline man in his day at CBS Sports.
He was.
He'll be on 60 Minutes tonight. A big report on college football. 2nd and 5. Vereen had to turn around to try to get that, and he got hammered by Pat Anger.
Jim, I was talking about Ken. We talked to Dwight Freeney last night, and he talked about trying to get pressure on Tom Brady, but so hard to do because, first off, their offensive line, especially their tackles, Solder and Vollmer, both good pass blockers. The scheme, he gets rid of it quick, and Brady knows how to make a quick decision and change his arm angle to throw those tough passes.
Got Danny Woodhead in the game now. 3rd and 5. Can they convert again? Steps up and incomplete. He was trying to rifle it in there with Welker, and it does draw a flag. The flag's in the backfield.
Number 77. Penalties decline. Result of the play, 4th down.
Called on Solder.
Left tackle Nate Solder. As Dwight Freeney, that's Dwight Freeney's new move. He just lines up and he tries to overpower the tackles. And when he feels like they're digging in too deep, that's when he does his famous spin move to get away from them.
Mesko will hold for Gostowski. It'll be a 36-yard field goal attempt. He's made his last 23 from inside the 40. And Stephen Gostowski, this time wide right. Now he had made 18 of his last 19 at home and 23 in a row inside of 40. This time fails to convert from 36. A rare miss from Gostowski. And Indianapolis will take over at the 26-yard line. Of course, the kicker on the other side is the Patriots' all-time leading scorer in Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah, I saw a lot of his former teammates coming up and saying hi to him because he had a pretty good role in winning a few Super Bowls here in New England.
You'd think. 2 game winners. 1st and 10, and over the head of Dwayne Allen. Brady and Vinatieri before the game. Adam, number 4 with 4 Super Bowl rings, 3 with the Patriots, 1 with the Colts.
Tom Brady says, yeah, I drove him down the field. Yeah, and Adam says, yeah, I
remember that?
It off. Yeah,
you remember that?
That was good stuff.
Vinatieri now 40 years old, and many think destined one day for the Hall of Fame. That was something Coach Belichick was asked about this week, and he certainly sounded like he approved. 2nd down and 10. Pump fake and a fire. Knocked away by Hightower.
Nice job by Dante Hightower. Is actually going to go out in the flat to cover the tight end towards the sideline. He reads the quarterback's eyes. He stops. Look at that. Stops, gets that hand out, and stops a completion.
Rookie from Alabama with the quick hands. 3rd and 10, and you see the note there, the best in the league, the Colts are, at converting from 3rd and 10 or longer, 36% of the time. Blitz. And look at Dennard come in there and knock the ball down, incomplete.
I think this New England defense, when they blitz, I think they're good at it. It looks like it's all going to come from Andrew Luck's right side, and then they get Dennard, number 37, coming from his left, untouched. But Andrew Luck just gets rid of the ball in time, and I think that was the big arm of Vince Wilfork.
Hit him in the elbow. Our first punt today coming up.
Well, this guy blitz.
At McAfee. Whistle first.
False start. Left gunner. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
First penalty on the Colts. The Colts, who come in here having won 4 straight and already with 4 more wins than they had all of last year. A win streak going through Cleveland, Tennessee, Miami, and Jacksonville. But now, game to measure yourself against New England. McAfee, not nearly as good as the one that didn't count because of the penalty. Edelman gets free, and Edelman cuts back. He's down the sideline. Edelman still on his feet and takes it in for the touchdown. 68 yards, Julian Edelman.
There you go. You give him a second chance. It is not a good punt. It was low, and Julian Edelman timed it perfectly. Came forward and was catching the football right in stride, and that catches the defense by surprise, and he avoids the tacklers to run for the long touchdown. But what a job judging the flight of the football, catching it moving forward and not breaking stride.
Edelman had a punt return for a touchdown on this very weekend a season ago against Kansas City. It was actually a night game as Gostowski's extra point goes through to tie the game at 14. His third career touchdown return. What a costly penalty against the punt team of Indianapolis. Look at Edelman watch the one that didn't count because the procedure penalty. He watched it all the way.
I don't think you can believe how far Pat McAfee kicked it.
Well, the next one wasn't nearly as good, nor the same kind of hang time. It was 47 yards, but a low driving punt, and he runs it back. Ties the Patriot record. Most returns for touchdown. Zibikowski to the 22. Just a 16-yard run back this time. Carter first. Gronkowski next. Then it was Hilton. And then the run back by Edelman. All tied. Penalty on the first attempted punt that gave the second chance for Edelman was on Sergio Brown, the former Patriot. Donald Brown showing a nice burst there for 9 more.
I think it's the right word to say about Donald Brown is burst, because he brings a lot of speed to this backfield when he comes in. And I've noticed it when he was played and healthy earlier in the year, how fast he was. And that's all New England talked about too. When 31 comes in, look for the outside runs.
Chandler Jones is still out. And the word from the sideline, questionable to return. No specifics on the injury reported to us. 2nd and 1. Lutz pass got away from him, and it's intercepted by Talib. Aqib Talib has running room. Waits for a blocker. Talib may take it all the way, and he does. Another return touchdown for New England. No flag.
Andrew Luck steps up in the pocket. It's a blitz by the Patriots. When he steps up, he kind of changes his arm. That makes him throw the football high. And Talib in good position. Not too close to the receiver cutting across, and what a run after the catch.
Yeah, Talib even just waited for Gregory to help throw a block to finalize it, a 59-yard run back. Talib was beaten on a precise throw by Luck in the first quarter for a touchdown, but he gets one back on a beautiful return. 2 returns by the Patriots in 61 seconds. Punt return, now an interception return, and the newcomer takes it to the end zone. Ever since Gostowski missed the field goal try, Brady and the offense have sat on the sideline and watched 2 touchdowns put on the board by New England. We're going to have a 3rd straight offensive possession coming up for the Colts as Talib makes the play. And, you know, it's never going to show up in any kind of statistical category, but you'll see Vince Wilfork influence that throw.
No doubt. Talib played the technique perfectly. That's why he was standing there waiting for the football.
Hilton now comes in as the returner, and the rookie is hit by Kudavides at the 19-yard line. 21-14 New England, second quarter. Talib just recently traded for a fourth-round pick from Tampa. There have been numerous off-field issues with him in his career, most recently a 4-game NFL suspension, but getting a new start here in New England, scoring a touchdown, their first interception return for a touchdown this year. And Arrington got quickly to Ballard, tripped him up, and it's a loss on the play of a couple.
Well, let's go back and watch number 75, Vince Wilfork. There he is. Andrew Luck feels him, thinks he's going to hit his arm, so he raised his arm a little higher. That's why the football got away from him. And Aqib Talib, you think, well, he's not very close to receiver. He's not supposed to be. It was a blitz. They played zone behind it, so he stayed there, hoping the linebackers would help him out. Andrew Luck throws it right to him.
Second and 13. There's Wayne. And it'll be a 3rd and 2 coming up. But we've got an update first. Back to JB and Coach.
After throwing a pick, Manning gets on track.
Number 421 touchdown pass in his career. Passes Dan Demarius Thomas 13 yards out. Add a field goal as well. San Diego's up 10-7.
Make that Denver.
Denver's up there.
Bill Sims.
Okay, so he moves past our Dan Marino. Oh, Dan's okay back there in the studio as Manning moves in the second all-time on the touchdown list. 3rd and 2 here. Back to Wayne and a first down. And that's Talib who swings him down, but Wayne got position and picks up 6 and a first.
Yeah, just a nice little timing throw. Fake like you're going down the field. Push off just a bit. And Reggie Wayne and Andrew Luck. Oh, does he trust Reggie Wayne? And what a good thing to have. You come in, Jim, you're a rookie quarterback, and look out there and you see Reggie Wayne, all the catches, all the experience, and they've built this passing offense around Reggie Wayne.
Came into the week leading the league in receptions and first down catches that go for a first, like that one a moment ago. 1st and 10, coming in on Luck, able to get away and just throw it away. That was Spikes who almost got to the rookie.
Good job by Andrew Luck getting away from Brandon Spikes, no doubt about it. But I would say this, you're going to have to change that snap count because Brandon Spikes, I think that's the 3rd or 4th time I've seen him time it up almost perfectly where he's running full speed, hitting the line of scrimmage at the snap.
Yeah, there have been a number of occasions where it seems like the Patriots were onto it and into the backfield unusually fast.
They are. They're timing up the motions of the wide receivers and Andrew Luck's snap count.
2nd down and 10. Ballard with a wiggle. And Dederick on his back. And a gain of 5. Well, we talked to Andrew Luck last night, and he was talking about how he's starting to feel like he's getting into the rhythm of an NFL season.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, I think he's learning how to take the criticism or the praise each week, getting in the rhythm of the practice, how you prepare, and maybe more than anything, Jim, learning how to take hits on the field, or I should say it this, take less hits, because those hits will wear any quarterback down, especially a rookie.
3rd and 5. As Brazil makes the cut to pick up the first and a whole lot more before Dennard pushes him out of bounds. He cut back against the grain and picks up 21. 2 big plays so far in this game by Levon Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, just watch the defenders inside. There's 2 guys. Oh, you see them, the defenders, but they can't even get up there quick enough to make the tackle. That's Brazil, his speed. Patriots have a defense where they have the extra guys inside. Mayo not able to get up there and make the tackle.
2 catches, 46 yards for Brazil. And on first down from the gun on the New England side of the field, there's Avery. Blockers in front, and Avery straight ahead for about 10. In honor of Veterans Day, for every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league will donate $100 to each of its nonprofit partners, the Pat Tillman Foundation, USO, and Wounded Warrior Project. To join the salute, NFL.com/salute. You know, after that interception run back, Luck went to the sideline. He was dejected. He was mad at himself. Arians put his arm around him, talked to him, patted him on the helmet. And he's coming back and putting together a drive here. 2nd and 1. Ballard was in danger of being knocked back. That ball may have squirted out. He'd picked up the first. And Luck is certain it's going to stay on his side, and is a first down for the Colts. Ballard fell on it.
Jim, you talking about that. Oh, here's the run. Does Ballard fumble this football? Yes, it is a fumble.
Ball got kicked from his clutch.
Yeah, definitely
fell on it. Yep. And here's what happened after the Talib interception return. And there's Arians. We're talking to Andrew about how BA, as he calls the coach, Bruce Arians, has a unique coaching style in the way he talks to his team. You saw it right there. 1st and 10, and should have been caught. At the 10-yard line, Dwayne Allen, the rookie 3rd rounder from Clemson. And then Dennard almost was able to make the interception off the rebound.
Yeah, again, inside pressure, though, coming across the field. If they think you got a chance, they try to run one guy by you to go deep. Then they bring somebody underneath. That time it was Dwayne Allen. Pretty tough catch. He can't come up with it.
Second and 10. 4 receivers set. On the sideline, a catch made. Incomplete now. Incomplete. It was Brazil trying to pick up his 3rd reception for over 20 yards.
It's a really, really good throw by Andrew Luck. He throws it in between Talib and Devin McCourty, but Devin McCourty, what a job flying over there and gets that left hand in there and knocks it out. That might have been the best throw of the game by Andrew Luck. I mean, that was a missile.
He had one other one that really stood out, the one that was such a bullseye on the back of the end zone touchdown throw to Hilton.
Right.
3rd and 10. Here comes the pressure. Pass gets away. Incomplete. Right between Reggie Wayne and Levon Brazil, and it was Jermaine Cunningham who was in the backfield causing that throw to be off the mark.
It's a New England defense today. It's saying we're not just going to sit back there and let you pick us apart. Here's the blitz. 2 outside linebackers, Mayo and Dante Hightower, putting the pressure on Andrew Luck, and the Colts are not taking advantage of the blitzing by New England's defense. And Luck goes down pretty hard.
Yeah, in the back of his head, bouncing off the turf. And Vinatieri getting a greeting here. 47-yard field goal try for the former Patriot. And Vinatieri nails it. Adam Vinatieri from 47 out. Patriots lead now, 21-17. Here in New England yesterday, the 129th playing of the game. Harvard-Yale, and Harvard winning for the 6th straight time. Well, the Colts able to put together a drive of 52 yards leading to a field goal.
Yeah, get some confidence back on their side after giving up those returns, no doubt.
McCourty, who had a kick return for a touchdown here earlier this year, that measured 105 yards. And this time it's Sergio Brown on the tackle. Brady coming back out. It's been a while, hasn't it? He has the lead. Actually, 32 minutes since the last time the Patriots took a snap. But they put up 14 points since the last time the offense was out here. Brady's been well protected in this game with 2 new guards starting today. From the pocket, he fires it to Gronkowski. And he's tackled by the ankles by Freeman. Gain of 15. And how about that protection for Brady so far, Phil?
Well, the protection is outstanding, but here comes Gronkowski up the field. Drew the wrong guy. He was inside, but the issue was they're pressing all the receivers. Dwight Freeney outside hitting Wes Welker before he goes on the pass rush.
1st and 10. Woodley stacked up for no gain. Gronkowski off to another big start here. And again, they're without Aaron Hernandez today. Out with that high ankle sprain yet once more. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. Join JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Latest NFL scores and highlights. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report.
You know, the answer, Jim, used to be let's press these receivers, especially the inside guys, and beat them up. I said it earlier, you can try it, but it really doesn't work because they know how to take the hits and wait till the last second to break away from it.
2nd and 10, there is Welker as he catches the bullet from Brady, and that's something we've heard from Welker. Picks up 18. He likes it in practice for Brady to throw it as hard as he can during the week.
Well, he gets what he wants in because Tom Brady throws these short passes so hard, and Wes Welker, you never see him like juggle them or miss them. He's got hands like concrete, though, when you shake it.
Hand off Ridley, and that play going nowhere as Muala got some help from Buffet, and he's backed up 2 yards.
But you notice that we talked to Wes Welker yesterday. I've always said you shake his hand, and the first thing you do is you go, wow, okay. Did I do something wrong to you? You're squeezing a little tight. But that tells you how he can catch the football in tight spots so close to Tom Brady and not juggle it, still make the catch, take the hit. And we saw it in practice all day long. He had a coach, Tom Brady, 5 yards away from him, just throwing the football about as hard as they could.
2nd down and 12. Welker, the Patriots' all-time leading receiver as of this season. And there's another completion. This one goes to Brandon Lloyd, his 3rd reception of the day.
I like these play-action passes, making the quick fake. And if he fakes left, he's looking right to throw it. Double coverage. Nice job by Brandon Lloyd coming underneath Antoine Buffet.
Out of the gun. Good draw. Vereen straight ahead for another 13, maybe 14.
Boy, Shane Vereen comes in there. He doesn't mess around. None of these running backs do. Danny Woodhead, Ridley, Vereen, they take the football, and it's a quick decision and go.
51 to the fight. Orange, go!
1st down from the 16. Vereen again. And he's got another 4.
That was a good change of pace by Tom Brady. So many times when they get in that hurry-up offense and they're going to run the football, it's always ready, go. And that time he did a double take, hoping to maybe catch that defensive line. A little anxious, but hard to be anxious, I think, when you're tired.
Moving in on the 2-minute warning. A 2nd and 7 for New England from the 13. That ball deflected. Knocked down by Jerry Hughes, who had a big game 10 days ago against Jacksonville with a couple of sacks. Making a play here.
Yeah, Jerry Hughes has kind of found his way in this defense. Number 92, he plays with his hand down, stands up as a linebacker some, backs up Robert Mathis, and has made an impact for this defense so far this year.
Former 1st-round pick for the Colts, and some were wondering when he was going to step up to play like this, and it's happening right now, this midseason. 3rd and 7. Brady with pressure, and that's incomplete. Off the hands of Josh Gordy. And we reached the 2-minute warning. They got pressure on Brady that time. Field goal attempt coming up out of the 2-minute warning. Kostowski coming back for another field goal try, having missed right from 36. This one from 31. And it's good. Well, Freeney and Mathis went by Brady. Matthews put the pressure on him. This was a game of flag football. He would have had Brady back Another 8 yards or so as he rips out the towel. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher. All the latest scores and highlights. A recap of the 1 o'clock games coming up on the Verizon halftime report. The Indianapolis defense has forced a couple of field goal attempts. One good, one missed, as the Patriots got inside the red zone on the last 2 trips. So the Indy defense has stepped up a little bit for sure. Hilton running sideways, and the ball comes out. I think it was Palmer who may have recovered it. You could see the way he was carrying it. There was a high probability that ball was going to be knocked out. Patriots think they have it. And John Perry says Indianapolis. Nathan Palmer on the recovery, indeed. It was Edelman who stripped it along with Slater.
Edelman knocks it out. You see Palmer. Well, I think Palmer he gets knocked out of his hands.
And then Ebner was trying to wrestle it away from him.
But you could have replayed that, and you can plainly see that they did recover the football no matter who came out of the pile with it.
Inside of 2 minutes, and he kind of... challenge, of course, comes from up top, but it's going to hold up as a Colt recovery. And a pass behind Donald Brown with a flag on the play.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense number 51, 5-yard penalty, and an automatic first down.
So Mayo flagged for that one. Colts have 3 timeouts and 1:43 on the clock here in the second quarter.
Well, you've seen this New England defense get a little more aggressive the last couple drives. Blitzing, trying to keep Andrew Luck in the pocket and slowly press their way back to him. Make him throw with a lot of defenders around him.
Luck rifles it down the field, and it's batted away by Dennard. What a nice play by the rookie from Nebraska.
Here's Andrew Luck. Punt rush him. In other words, do not get any defenders past him. And that time when he steps up, again, not able to make a good throw because he's moving forward pretty fast to still try to be accurate throwing the football down the field.
He was trying to find Donnie Avery. Luck has missed on his last 4 throws. Second and 10. Quickly now. Mayo able to bring down Donald Brown 2 yards short of a first gain of 8. Timeout called by Indianapolis. 3rd and 2 on the way. Again, that was a Colts timeout, but you weren't so certain that maybe the Patriots would have taken one anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we've covered a lot of Patriots games. They are aggressive in their management of the game. Maybe hoping Tom Brady can get one more shot with the football.
Third and 3, and what a catch. That's Avery. As he gets double whammy there. A gain of 19 and a timeout again called by the Colts. Good job of holding on to that one for the first down. Back to the line with 1:23 to go in the first half. And a first down from the 41. Luck looking for a second option, able to dump it off. But that cost him a yard and a lot of time. Donald Brown.
Yeah, good job by Andrew Luck just getting rid of the football. But still, plenty of time to, when you look at, they have 1 timeout left and 1 minute to go.
Work in the middle, and Allen holds on to it this time for another first. at the 44 of New England.
Yeah, I'd call timeout. I would not waste his time. That way you can let the plays, you can manage the game from that end of it instead of letting 15 to 20 seconds go off the clock.
That one went for 16. From the New England side of the field, a diving attempt incomplete. Reggie Wayne.
So you look at it, there was a minute to go, they're down to 32 seconds, and all you got out of that was 2 plays. But you know, you go back to that tough throw to Avery. The one thing that Bruce Arians told us, and I kind of mentioned to him, Andrew Luck is not one of these dink and dunk quarterbacks. If you give him a window or even a glimpse, he will try to drive the football down the field. And these receivers, we said it, not afraid to make those tough catches, which we have seen in between defenders.
He's on pace, as is Brady, for another 300-yard game. 2nd and 10. Wayne backing into the 40, only good for 4 as they hurry to the line.
Well, time is definitely going to be a factor. You got 1 timeout left.
And you've got 3rd and 6 here. Final 10 seconds. Down the field to Palmer. And Talib was with him. I don't think they're going to be too happy when they go back and look at the film. The way they utilize the time here in the last minute from here would be about a 58-yard field goal attempt.
Yeah, I think you could say that too, Jim. Yeah, they didn't use the time well, but you know, they still didn't make the plays, and so it doesn't matter. Here's Vinatieri before the game, a little breeze behind him, somewhere around 60 yards, has the distance, just missed it left.
He never made a field goal attempt of 50-plus yards. Here at Gillette Stadium, timeout called by the Patriots.
A good timeout by the Patriots. Going to go over one more time. One of the rules when you throw the jump pass in the end zone. They used to say, well, it's knock it down. I've seen passes being knocked down and the receiver still catching it.
Gronkowski putting on the chin strap. He stays on that sideline as they do bring out Vinatieri now.
There, you know, I was going to say, why not try the field goal? I wasn't even looking at the field. I was looking for the wind, because you and I know, as we look at the field, the wind goes in the direction where we see the Colts going on offense almost always. It's not that strong, but I would say it's a good 5 to 7 miles an hour at least.
Of course, he had the indoor 53-yarder to win against Minnesota. There you see it, week 2. Last play of the game. His career long is 57. Got a little bit of a breeze at his back. So this would be a new career long for the 40-year-old former Patriot. From 58, Vinatieri misses it left.
Well, it was close. I think he did have just enough distance, but anytime, just like playing golf, when you swing at it too hard, the accuracy, you got to give up some accuracy, and that time he just pulls it left.
Yeah, he jumped on it. It had the distance. How much you think he would have loved to have had that one here at New England?
Oh, no doubt about that.
That's the end of the first half with the score: New England 24, Indianapolis 17. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. Brady and Gronkowski about to take the field here. Second half kickoff coming up to New England, as Luck and the Colts offense actually outscoring the Patriots offense in that first half. New England ahead thanks to a punt return touchdown by Edelman, interception return touchdown by Aqib Talib. And it's McCourty from the goal line. Dancing around, gets past Carter. Comes to the sideline, and Gordy pushes him out of bounds at the 24-yard line. So you get this first matchup for a rookie against a legend. Luck against Brady. What did you make out of it in the first half?
Well, they both had very good moments, no doubt about it. When you look at Andrew Luck, when given time, he's going to drive the football into some good spots and get it done. But what caught my eye near the end of the first half, I thought New England's defense got a rhythm, and they started getting pressure up inside, which is the worst thing for any quarterback.
First down, Ridley, who's had a quiet go of it. is met head on. And a loss of a yard. Here are the first half numbers. Luck throws for 159 and a touch. One pick, which was returned for the score. Brady, 181 and a touchdown, his 19th of the season. Hasn't thrown an interception, speaking of Brady, since more than a month ago, October the 14th at Seattle. A 2nd and 11. Robbing this one for Lloyd. That was Gordy on the coverage.
I like the fact that there's tight coverage on the outside. At least make Tom Brady be extremely accurate with the football by doing that. But when you look at the second half, can the Colts find a way to pressure Tom Brady? Can they get up inside and make it hard for him to see down the field or make the short throws?
Well, Brady wanted that one. You know, Lloyd has not been the vertical threat everybody thought he might be. His longest catch of the season is 27 yards.
It's just not. Look, they got Welker, 2 good tight ends, Woodhead out of the backfield. Hard to find enough footballs to throw around.
3rd and 11. Edelman, wide receiver screen and get the first down. Holding on to that football as he gets knocked down by Freeman and Mathis at the 40. He got a nice block there by Sebastian Vollmer.
Yeah, the tackles do a great job of coming out and making the blocks. And watch how fast Tom Brady gets rid of it. There comes the tackle outside. You have no chance. Josh Gordy goes backwards. And it's not even fair. 3rd and long, you see it all the time. I've seen it a lot. Screen passes for first downs. Fair.
That one went for 17. 1st and 10. Just wide of the mark. Looking for Welker. It was back pressure. Just received word from the Colts that Donnie Avery suffered a concussion on that catch late in the first half and will not return. Their 2nd leading receiver. But meanwhile, New England, the league's highest scoring team, highest scoring first quarter team, first half team, 3rd most points, second half. They don't let up. Here they are, 2nd and 10. Walker snags it. And he steps out. They give him the spot for the first and a gain of 11. I thought he might have been out a yard short of it, but it's marked for 11 and a first.
Tom Brady, it's a play action fake. Fakes left, throws right. Here he goes. The first receiver's not open, and look where the outlet receiver is. You look to the right side, now you go all the way to the left sideline. There's Wes Welker. Why do you do this? Why do you teach the quarterback to do that kind of read? Because the defense reacts to your eyes.
Nimble feet by Welker. He did get the right spot as Ridley runs for another 11. Back-to-back 11-yard plays for the Pats. Manawa Nui threw the key block on that one.
Yeah, very good. And it's the quick snap count again, coming across the formation. And this is what happens when you play against this offense, when they take it up-tempo. It's one thing being physical, but we told you and talked about Greg Minuski, defensive coordinator. Can the defenders mentally be tough enough to keep grinding out the plays and think about their job?
Ridley split wide to the right after his longest run of the day. 11 on 1st and 10. Gronkowski. And Freeman just tried to shove him instead of tackle him. And Gronkowski takes it at least another 10 yards after the catch.
Jim, it's a pressure defense. Here he comes up the field, and then we see it one more time. Even though Freeman is next to him, it's that quick break to the outside. Tom Brady knows it's a linebacker against a tight end. Makes a perfect throw.
Picked up 31. Welker. And the ball bounces out of bounds after the catch. Another gain on that play of 5. Shoved out by Darius Butler.
You know, I go back to that, Jim. You know, they've thrown so many short passes with defenders up there. They just know how to time it. As soon as you come out of the break, you only have to be open by about a foot. And Tom Brady's short throw is going to drive it in there.
Now 2nd and goal. Ridley hit and falls ahead for 1.
You said he was hit. That was Corey Redding. Defensive end just makes the big hit, not able to wrap him up. Corey Redding comes from Baltimore. course, Chuck McDonald, the head coach, brought him with him.
Look at this.
Yeah, can't get his arms around him. He tries. Good job by Ridley spinning out.
And then Anger and Freeman bring him down. Set up a 3rd and goal from the 2. 2 tight ends out of this wide formation. Brady throws. He's got the touchdown. Julian Edelman. He was in front of Cassius Vaughn. It scores his 2nd touchdown of the day.
Good pass protection. Everybody up. No help on the outside for Cassius Vaughn. And it's the perfect throw right to the body of Edelman. So even if you're close, you can't make the play because he's able to protect the throw. Beautiful drive.
Stowski makes it a 14-point margin. Brady has now a 10th season with at least 20 touchdown passes, as 4th most all-time. Jim Nantz, Bill Sims back here in Foxborough, Massachusetts. That drive faced a early testing point. 3rd and 11, they went wide receiver screen with Edelman, picked up the 1st, and later on 3rd and goal, Edelman catches the touchdown.
Yeah, 3rd and 11. The coaches got the 1st down. They designed the play. Wasn't about, oh, we got to hold the ball, protect Tom Brady, and get open.
T.Y. Hilton. Into a pile of Patriots, including Kudavides and Slater. Just a 20-yard run back. Tuesday on CBS, see why America has made Vegas TV's #1 new show this season. Again, it's Tuesday only on CBS. Carter comes off the field. He scored their 1st touchdown. That was a 7-play drive, went 80 yards. Touchdown, punt, which was run back for a score, interception, run back for a score, field goal, missed field goal.
Patriots defense was aggressive towards the end of the 1st half. Can the Colts get them back to where they were off balance?
Running play with Ballard. Patriots run right down the line with him, including Mayo.
Well, Mayo's out there, but again, watch Brandon Spikes. They're attacking the line of scrimmage right in the middle of your screen. They are every snap count. They're timing them up, being aggressive. Spikes hit the center, still able to get out there, Jim, and get in the tackle.
And a loss of 2.
He is a smart football player, no doubt about it. And he's physical, makes the big hits. Seems like he causes a fumble every single week.
Second and 12. Block, dangerous throw, almost intercepted by Steve Gregory.
Look, we're talking about a rookie quarterback, so there's a certain way you got to judge him. I'm not going to judge him the same way I would Tom Brady, but they make him hold the football. The coverage is tight, and then at the last second, he decides to throw it. And I think New England thought this. If they could keep him in the pocket, they would get some opportunities to maybe intercept the ball because he is an aggressive decision maker and thrower.
3rd and 12. Can they convert 3rd and long like the Patriots did to jumpstart their 1st drive of the 2nd half? Wolfert's underneath, and the pass gets away. Complete to Hilton. Somehow, Ninkovich, first it was Wilford, then Ninkovich almost dragged him down. They somehow managed 16 yards at a 1st.
Well, just watch it. There's not much I can say. It says it all. You think he's big and strong? Holds on to Ninkovich, has got him by the shirt, and just comes forward and still able to reload and make the throw. And the Patriots, I heard it a couple times. We were up here talking to them about luck. It reminds them of Ben Roethlisberger. He can take the hits and still throw under pressure.
First down. Down the field again, and that is some catch by Reggie Wayne as he gets decked by McCourty.
Jim, have I proven the point that he is not afraid to throw it in there? This is another tight throw. Play action, get him deep, give the receivers time to make the second move down the field. There's McCourty right on Reggie Wayne, and what a catch.
That's 3 straight passes right into the middle of the field. The first one almost picked, the last 2 beauties as they now advance to the Patriots side at the 45. Hilton surrounded by a couple of Patriots, including Ninkovich and Gregory. Get coverage of every game on the go with NFL Mobile. For $5 a month, watch live streaming of every touchdown with NFL Red Zone, as well as NFL Network's 24/7 coverage. Star NFL to download, NFL.com/mobile to learn more.
Well, as Bruce Arians said, he goes, my guy's not afraid to chuck it. And it's fun to watch. It's definitely not like, oh, they're going to be super careful with the football. They're looking to make big plays.
Make the end around, and then this worked for 20 in the first half. Ballard this time picks up 3. Well, when you get back to Luck, and again the pedigree there, his father was drafted by the Houston Oilers. His dad, Oliver, now the athletic director at West Virginia. His dad really did not overcoach him like some parents might do. By middle school, Andrew was telling us his dad pretty much left it to his football coaches to teach him the rest of the way.
Well, he had some pretty good teachers along the way, no doubt about it. At Stanford, taught well. Even in high school football, learned a few fundamentals he's carried with him to even today.
3rd and 4. Slides over and almost intercepted by Wilfork, who batted it and then chased it.
That was a really good job. Nice job by Andrew Luck. He moves in the pocket, feels the pressure. Brazil is open over the middle, and once again, Vince Wilfork with the tip.
Look at Wilfork then try to run after. You were watching him yesterday, Wilfork, in practice throwing the football, or this week on Friday, actually.
Look, don't let that body fool you. You're right, Jim. He can do it all. He can run fast when he wants to. We see how tough he is. He can really throw it, too. That's how you were saying.
McAfee on 4th and 4 from the 39. They pooch punt it, and they cover it beautifully. And 5 Colts around it to down it.
Can't throw it as good as you, though. Those are pretty good.
We are back with the Patriots starting inside their own 5, having driven down the field last time they had it, leading to an Edelman touchdown catch. Lloyd able to grab hold of that one for another 11-yard gain.
Well, I'll tell you what a throw coming out from the end zone. Nice fake outside. You win at the line of scrimmage when there's tight coverage by the defensive back. Brandon Lloyd does it. Tom Brady with that big high release on a short drop, able to get it over. Antonio Johnson.
Ridley right into the arms of Pat Anger. It's been a big day here for Julian Edelman with 5 catches, 1 for a touchdown, and a punt return for a touchdown. Another Bay Area guy. He grew up in Redwood City, California, about 10 minutes away from Tom Brady's hometown of San Mateo. Went to Woodside High School out there and then went all the way to Ohio to go to Kent State to be a quarterback in college.
And they drafted him. You said it, Jim. He was a quarterback in college. He was so fast and athletic, they thought they could transform him, and they've done it. Like a lot of guys in his team, right, can do more than one job.
Drafted him in the 7th round. Here's a 2nd and 7.
Corey Redding.
Corey Redding is indeed right there to knock him back. Hold him to 2. This is a 3rd career punt return for a touchdown. Ties Irving Fryer and Troy Brown for the Patriots franchise record. And then he catches one. The first since Fryer back in '85 to run back a punt and have a touchdown reception in the same game.
Can the Colts get off the field? That's the big one. 3rd down and 5. Tight coverage or pressure on Brady. You need one of the two. A little different look. Everybody's standing up this time.
Pick up the blitz. Brady throws. And the Colts defense makes a stand. That is Darius Butler on Welker.
Yeah, it was. You said it. They make a stand. Nice little look on the outside. They give them a look. Everybody's standing up. It confuses the pass blocking. Tom Brady doesn't have time to make a decision and has to throw it away. Robert Mathis on the pressure.
Mathis really was the one who forced that incompletion. And Mesko for the first time punting today. Danny Aiken to snap it back. Second-year man from Virginia. Mesko with a beauty. It has Hilton backpedaling inside the 20. Oh, he lost the ball and re-grabs it. And then shoved out of bounds by Ebner. That was Aiken, the snapper, who really helped force that ball come out for a moment. But the Colts have it, down 14. All right, the Colts offense back on the field after forcing the first punt of the day by New England. Donald Brown in the backfield. And that goes for 6. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on NFL Monday QB, Monday 6:30 Eastern. Only on CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home of CBS Sports. I know you're looking forward to getting back in there tomorrow and mixing it up again. Now the Colts rushed for 51 yards in the first quarter, had 5 yards through the next quarter and a half, and now only 20 total since that opening quarter of action. And this one's not going to go anywhere as Wilfork and Ninkovich again double up.
Now, one thing this Patriots defense can do, and they've done for a long time when it was Willie McGinnis and Mike Vrabel, they can set the edge. In other words, hard to jump outside in running plays. And that time when, the running back, Donald Brown, tries to go outside, there's nowhere to go. They're waiting on you. New England now standing everybody up except Vince Wilfork.
Including the fans. 3rd and 7. Ball comes out. Patriots look like they have the recovery. Ninkovich falls on it. Ninkovich actually knocked it loose and then fell on it for the recovery.
What a difference for this defense, changing up, showing some different looks. And Ninkovich just gets the power move, gets around the tackle, then knocks it loose from Andrew Luck. They've shown some different blitzes, and he gets fortunate. Andrew Luck sees a receiver down the field to throw to, so he takes 2 hands off the football. Something he never really does until he throws it.
That's the first sack of the day on either side. And the second turnover committed by the Colts. Brady looking to strike quickly, and he goes to Gronkowski. Touchdown! Right at the goal line.
What a catch. Jim, I think it's close. Doesn't get in. But when the Patriots, they love to run. There's a little double move by Gronkowski. They love to go up the seams. Looks like he does get into the end zone. But inside the 30-yard line, they love that play. A receiver next to Gronkowski and him going up the field. They're gonna wait to make sure that it is a touchdown.
Tom Brady absolutely walking off that field, so fired up.
He's telling them how long he had to hold the football to wait. The timing wasn't quite there.
14 points here in the 3rd quarter on a pair of Brady touchdown throws. 2 of them to Gronkowski on the day, 3 overall. New England defense can be porous at times, but they also can get the takeaways. They lead the league, New England does, in takeaway margin, now plus 25 for the season. Just one play after the Ninkovich forced fumble and recovery, strip sack, it leads to the Gronkowski touchdown catch from Brady. "14 points off turnovers in this game today for the Patriots, and the Colts have not forced a single one. In fact, they're last in the league when it comes to that category. Try to absorb these numbers right here. Second half of the season games since the 2010 midseason points. Second half season games, they haven't lost. They're 17-0. They've forced 49 takeaways, giving it away only 4 times. Outscoring opponents 222-0 off turnovers. Crazy. As Luck throws it incomplete.
Well, Jim, let's go back. How does Gronkowski get so wide open? They love this play. 2 tight ends to one side. He's going to make a move, go up the field, watch the defensive back. What does he do? Now you got 2 on 1 fast break. Tom Brady, watch him too. He's hesitating, throwing the football, finally lets it go, throws it just behind Gronkowski, makes a nice catch. Pretty exciting stuff.
On 2nd and 10. And just out of reach for Hilton, but a flag is thrown. Mayo.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 51, leading with the helmet to the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Mayo hit for 15 yards on the shot on Luck.
Number 51 right up the middle, untouched. Never hits the helmet, but it looks like he does, so that's why they throw the flag. Didn't lead with the crown, so that's not illegal. That's the way I saw it, Jim. Not sure what you saw, but that his helmet never hit Andrew Luck, or it did not hit Andrew Luck in the face either.
When a quarterback gets hit like that in the league these days, it's almost automatic.
I guess the saving grace is if he didn't, he won't get fined.
1st and 10. And Luck's able to scramble straight ahead for 3. Holding onto his leg, but he's okay. College football Thanksgiving weekend. LSU, Arkansas, Friday. And then one of the all-time biggest rivalry games, Auburn and Alabama, the Iron Bowl, Saturday. In Alabama, that wild sequence of games last night back in the chase for the national championship to number 2 in the BCS behind Notre Dame. 2nd and 7. Ballard not able to run freely like he was in the first quarter. As Trevor Scott makes that play, loss of 2.
That's kind of starts right from the start. Look at the linebackers inside. They're just smashing the offensive line, disrupting the blocking patterns, nowhere to run. And Trevor Scott, 99, high effort, runs to the ball, just can make the plays that way, and he's all over the tackle.
And Ninkovich also forcing the action. Spikes as well.
Defense gets aggressive. I like when New England blitzes and plays a different defense than we see that bend but don't break.
3rd and 10. Indy trying to get the first, and they're able to do so with Reggie Wayne. Another 3rd and long conversion by the best in the league at that.
Well, they're leading 38-17, but look at the space. Look how far the defenders are off the receiver, and Reggie Wayne, what a good job of coming back between the defenders and getting the catch. Nice throw by Andrew Luck, too. But you and I, we did the game over in London. They're playing the St. Louis Rams. Every time this defense blitzed or tried to pressure the offense, they made plays. Even last week against Buffalo, they did it there too.
Luck goes over 200 yards passing with that completion. Good play action fake and a connection with Allen, who was tackled down low by Talib in a gain of 19.
Nice fake. Inside. Allen coming across. They love these type of throws, these tight ends. And how about Dwayne Allen? 3rd round draft pick. and block. And Andrew Luck steps up in the pocket, always keeps those hands on that football, Jim. And so when he has those two hands on it, you don't see him fumbling.
That's some coaching he got back at Stratford High School in Houston. They taught him how to hold on to that football in the pocket with two hands.
Boy, he's done it well. Jeff Green, his teacher, needs to come to the NFL and show other quarterbacks.
Rolling out and throwing it away. Dante Hightower forcing him out. Luck, a product of the same high school down in Houston that produced Craig James, who, of course, was a running back on a Super Bowl team, a team that went to the Super Bowl for the Patriots back in the mid-'80s, only to run into Chicago down in New Orleans.
Well, you know, and I talked to Andrew Luck about it. He keeps those hands on the football. When he takes it off, then he goes to throw it. That's why he gets his body into the throw so much. And I said, why do you do it? And he goes, well, Jeff Green was big, and he yelled at me, so he scared me. I wasn't taking those hands off of him. He's done it his whole career since then.
He got his attention from his freshman year. 2nd and 10. And a nice scramble to his feet catch by Hilton. And a gain of 11 to close out the third quarter. A quarter that went big the Patriots' way. We'll return to Foxborough after this message and a word from your local station. Colts and Patriots, fourth quarter about to commence. Robert Kraft, Chairman, CEO of the Patriots, flanked by son Jonathan on one side and Henry Kissinger to his right. Colts are driving it here to begin the fourth from the New England 23. Open man, but it's picked off. It's Dennard, the rookie from Nebraska, trying to get past the rookie quarterback, and he's got a touchdown.
Well, it's good protection, and it's a good read by Andrew Luck. He goes to throw it, and it just gets away from him. He never gets his body in position to throw it to the sideline, and it goes inside, and Dennard, who's an aggressive man-to-man and not afraid to take chances, defensive back. I think he's going to pair up well with Aqib Talib on the other side when they're in there. Makes the easy interception.
One of the last players drafted last spring picks off the first player drafted. And that's the second interception return for a touchdown today by the New England defense. Plus a punt return for a score as well. 87 yards for Alfonso Dennard. And New England's total now up to 45. 45-17. Alfonso Dennard, the 224th pick of the draft. Out of 253 selected, intercepts Andrew Luck and takes it the distance, and you're starting to see, you believe, the makings of how this secondary is going to shape up for New England with Talib's addition, Dennard stepping up and making plays. We've seen Dennard do this already this season.
And I've said it many times in games, he is not afraid to play that man-to-man coverage and take away certain throws. He doesn't live in fear of getting beat deep.
And the Hilton run back only to the 26, where he's met by Harrington and Rivera. All New England second half here at Foxborough. You know, the Patriots found a lot of different ways to score here today. Meanwhile, they've shut out Indianapolis in the second half. Over to Allen. Talib backs him up. Meets him head on. Gain of 7. You can help the victims of disasters like Superstorm Sandy. Text Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund, CBS Cares. So we're seeing Talib in a lot of different plays here today, including that pick 6.
Well, they've been spelling him, so they know. He just came back from a 4-week suspension. Hasn't been on the football field, so they're not putting too many plays on his plate. But we watched him in practice. I watched every snap. You've got to be impressed with his talent.
Aggressive run here for a first down. Brown looked like he was going to be decked for a loss. Picks up 5. Let's pick up an update. James Brown in New York.
Rivers trying to answer back.
Yeah, he finds Nerio Alexander right here. Back fade, 3rd and 1, 8 yards out. And the Denver Broncos cut the lead now, still leading 24-16.
58 seconds left in the third period of play. Jim Nance, Phil Simms.
All right, Alexander looking like quite a pickup here this season, middle of the season for Coach Turner and the Chargers. 1st and 10. Thanks to Donald Brown's run, and here comes the pressure. Luck got it away, and Brazil can't quite get there. Arrington hit Luck right when he released it. Somehow he still managed to get a lot on the throw.
Did he ever? This is really impressive. Top of your screen. Here comes Arrington, untouched. And Andrew Luck just kind of throws off balance.
He just kind of throws Arrington off of him. Just kind of says, hey.
And there's a hit to the face.
But look at Luck. He's still standing.
And actually overthrows the pass to Brazil. So it's the one thing you've noticed about Andrew Luck when you watch their games, he can still chuck it down the field when he's under pressure. Saw it there, of course.
2nd and 10 run by Ballard, and it's a good one. Rips off one for about 17.
And some of the best runs have been right up the middle today in this defense, and you don't expect it when, well, this time, Vince Wilfork is not in there. Denrick's in, so that's one of the reasons why you call those inside runs. And who comes trotting in after they give it up? 75, right back in.
Ballard now with 70 yards after having 51 in the first quarter. But the Patriots 43 hit again when he threw it, and Hilton makes the catch. There's a flag down as he got untangled from Talib. And let's see, is it offensive or defensive interference?
It looks like it's
Right to the
defense.
pass, illegal contact. Defense, number 31. Penalties decline. Result, touchdown.
Goes for a touchdown. A beautiful over-the-shoulder grab and a nice pass here by Luck.
Trevor Scott all over him that time. And Jermaine Cunningham and Aqib Talib got looking inside and guessing. He thought it was going to be a shorter route because of the timing of the drop and everything by Andrew Luck, and Hilton goes right by him.
Look at Hilton. He's got his 3rd 100-yard game of the year. The only rookie receiver with a 100-yard game, and that's his 3rd one of the year.
You said he was fast, and we're seeing it.
Of course, until Blackman had a big game today for Jacksonville. 3 on the year for the 13th receiver taken. 2 touchdown catches for the day by T.Y. Hilton. His name's actually Eugene. You rode him pretty hard about that last night.
Well, we were just having some fun with it. I said, tomorrow I got to tell everybody your name's Eugene. What a good kid.
Yeah.
Really excited about being a pro, and he is delivering big time for the Colts.
Kick over the head of Welker. And again, they moved up in the 3rd round to pick Hilton. Thanksgiving Day, we're heading to Detroit, Phil. The Lions will host the Houston Texans at 12:30 on Thanksgiving Day, 12:30 Eastern Time, in a special holiday edition of the NFL Today. Coming up Thursday with JB and all the crew right here on CBS.
Jim, I'm going to go back to T.Y. Hilton. I saw him last year. I'm watching a game at the University of Louisville. They're playing Florida International. I go, who is that guy? As he's running down the middle of the field, catching like 80-yard passes and just running by everybody. Well, here he is in the pros and doing the same thing.
Brady's going to come out throwing on the first play of this series, and it's over the outstretched hands of Brandon Lloyd. Thanksgiving memories, more to come. How about Tom Brady's first ever NFL completion came on a Thanksgiving Day game at Detroit. Rod Rutledge, maybe a little harbinger of more to come as he connected with a number 83 for his first ever completion.
Of course, you mean Wes Welker all these years.
Corey Redding is down. We'll be back to Gillette in a moment. We're back here in New England as Redding helped to the sideline. Ridley shoved out of bounds after a gain of 2. This is the 3rd time under Bill Belichick the Patriots have had a game where they've scored 3 non-offensive touchdowns in a game. Back in the 0-1 season against Carolina, a couple years ago in a game against Miami, 2 interception returns and a punt return touchdown, plus Brady 3 touchdown tosses. He needs 18 more passing yards for a 300-yard game. And moves even closer with that hookup with Gronkowski for 11.
Good change up by the Colts defense. They come with the blitz inside. It's picked up well. And again, you're Antoine Buffet trying to cover 6'6", about 265 pounds of a guy who can run. And we hear it, and Jim, you and I say it a lot. Rob Gronkowski can run fast. He's athletic. And he can maneuver to catch the football.
And the thing is, he has not really even been healthy. Has not been 100% this whole season.
Good point. Fighting injuries all the time. Had some back problems.
First down carry. Ridley cutting right. Was almost down. Kept his balance for a gain of 3. Escaped. Jarrell Freeman.
But that last play, you saw that throw to Rob Gronkowski. It just kind of explains. So you try to pressure Tom Brady. Good idea. The problem is you blitz people, but you can't stay with these receivers no matter who it is. He's saying there was a hold. Yeah. Who cares? He still got wide open.
Still wants more. 2nd and 7. Looking around and has his 300-yard game. It goes to Welker. 51st time in Brady's career.
You know, that was a really good job by Tom Brady. 2 things. 1, he moves around. Look at the protection once again. But he knows it's, time is up. So he makes sure he's not going to get hit. So he fumbles the football. He brings it down. And how about that route by Wes Welker? Butler trying to carry him down the field. Hard to do. And quick feet and a good move by Wes Welker.
You know, Welker just posting these incredible numbers season after season.
Well, you said it right to me the other day. He's redefined the slot receiver in the NFL.
Edelman has done everything. Now he's got a reverse, and he's got 20, 25, 30 yards on the play. 40 yards and still on his feet, but nearly found a way to find the end zone for another combination touchdown. Got the punt return, has the reception, and nearly ran this one. It goes for 47.
Well, they do a good job. They make the fake. They get a lead blocker out in front of him. Welker gets a block down the field. And number 47, Homan, right? Mana Wanui.
Good job.
There you go. Thank you. It took a lot of courage for me to throw that out there.
I've been waiting all season for that.
No, I said it last game too, once.
The name means to be patient. First and goal. Ridley straight ahead and darts in for the touchdown. From 3 yards out.
Now they're just breaking their will now. That's what it was. All the plays. The blitz doesn't work. They get you with the reverse, and then they just run it straight at you, and you're blind, you're dizzy, looking for everything else.
Ryan Wendell really opened up that middle, as did Donald Thomas.
How about the inside? We didn't even give them as much credit as we should, Jim. 2 starting guards in there today, backups, and they've done an excellent job.
Yeah, Thomas and McDonald. Patriots had 49 rushing yards for the game until Edelman goes 47. The next play, Ridley goes 3. 2 plays of 50 yards. And another touchdown. Ridley rushing it in for the 7th time this season. Early NFL headlines. The Packers pulled one out at Detroit. They've won 5 straight. Big numbers for Bryant as the Cowboys come back from 13 down in the second half and beat the Browns in overtime. And the Texans go to overtime. They were down 14 in the 4th. tied it and then won it with Schaub to Andre Johnson. With 527 passing yards by Schaub. Tied for second most in NFL history today in 5 touchdown passes. Aaron Rodgers, when he puts up big numbers, those aren't what we always see out of him. Sometimes much better than that, but
they ran the clutch today too, though. That's right.
Absolutely, and Josh Freeman led Tampa back to a win at Carolina in overtime.
They're becoming a big story. Tampa Bay, how they're winning, and Josh Freeman just every week coming in the clutch, but making big plays and putting up some good numbers too.
Here's the kick as you saw Redding being carted to the locker room about hip injury is what we're hearing. And Hilton dives down at the 23. Wednesday, primetime, JB, Chris, and Phil showcase their unique talents and analysis. And inside the NFL, primetime showtime inside the NFL Wednesday nights. How about this? There have been 4 times there have been 50 points put on the board this season. 2 of them by New England, once by Baltimore. That was last week against the Raiders. And Chicago did it as well one time.
Well, you know, you look at New England, 5th in the league in rushing, 7th in passing, 1st overall, and 1st in scoring. How about that offense? I mean, that says it all.
Chicago put their 50 up against Tennessee. 1st and 10, and the throw over to Ballard. And Dennard is there to knock him out after a gain of 7. Here's the remaining schedule for Indianapolis, playing Houston 2 of the last 3 weeks. You're going to fall 3 games behind the Texans in that AFC South. And likely, the way this is going, of course, 1 game ahead of Cincinnati for the last wild card spot at the moment. That's Wilfork coming in here again. Tell me about Big Vince on this play.
Yeah, well, it says it all. Let's just watch 75. Here he is over on the side. He just stands up the blocker. That time it's right, and he just waits. And when the running back makes a move, he can go either side. So that's what they call 2 gap. In other words, he can go right or left. That's the 2 gaps. And he puts those big arms around him. You talked about it. We laughed with some of the coaches. They were talking about how fast he can run when he really just wants to turn it on and go straight ahead.
3rd and 2. Incomplete. Dennard had a hand in there and helped deny it to Hilton. And they're going to punt.
Said that name a lot today, Dennard. So he's, you know, Keep Talib. We saw some good things from him in coverage. Been burned a couple times, so he's realizing this NFL, when you're out 4 weeks, it's going to take a while to get back into the flow. But still, I like the chances this New England secondary can get better.
See if Edelman could put another highlight on the board. Almost got the triple crown on the end around. Got another big gainer. Here he goes. Edelman taken off, and the punter able to this time wrap him up and bring him down. What a day for Julian Edelman.
It is unbelievable. Look, he looks, he makes the read, and when he takes off, he is, well, you can see the speed. He's fast, but he's powerful too.
49-yard run back this time.
You know, every time you think he's going to break out with this New England Patriots football team, he gets nicked up, Jim, and we don't see him for 4 or 5 weeks or whatever. But now that he's healthy, you can see he could, like Danny Woodhead, so many of these players, they can do so many things.
It's over to Vereen. He gallops for 11. Yeah, he's missed time talking about Edelman this year, but you know, you were talking about this number 1 offense, and it really hasn't been at 100%. We mentioned Gronkowski's not been healthy the whole year, but still played. Hernandez has missed a lot of time. Again, out again today. Both guards are out today.
Well, Tom Brady talked about it. He says, look, we're making progress, but we've had so many people nicked up, injured, not playing. But I think that's the other thing. They prepare for it. During the preseason, they were shifting that offensive line around all the time for situations like this in case somebody gets nicked up.
On the ball! Out, go!
First down from the Colts 28. Vereen stutter step move and still met by Freeney and a loss of 1. You talk about the Colts organization. That, if you go back to the Baltimore days for the franchise, that's where Bill Belichick began his career as a special assistant to Ted Marchibroda.
Yeah, that's right.
Back in 1975.
I think he was he was tearing it up then in salary. I think he was getting about $25 a week or $50, and I'm not sure. I just remember it was not very much.
I remember they had nicknames for him too, because again, he was the guy that would go around and maybe sometimes deliver some bad news. As Vereen is held on to that time by Matthews. Yeah, he'd sometimes have to get in there and say, the coach wants to see you down in the office. So he was known as Bad News Billy, and then other times he was Bed Check Billy. Back in 1975, getting a start with the Baltimore Colts.
Come a long way, there's no doubt about it. Hard-working coach, and you and I talk to him all the time about the NFL, and I'll say, hey, coach, what about free agency? You get tired of it? No, I love free agency. How about OTAs and all the practice? Oh, I love summer practice. So he doesn't get tired of the process, and he doesn't have the so-called, I don't think he's ever gotten close to the burnout that you hear from some head coaches.
His team faces 3rd and 7. This team's moving on down with the chains as Walker has another catch in the middle of the field for 13.
Well, Wes Welker comes in motion going across the field. It's a blitz by the Colts. Nobody, once again, touches Tom Brady. You can't say it enough. We talk about the receivers, of the system, but the offensive line, especially those tackles. We haven't mentioned Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney really being an impact in this game today. That's one of the big reasons why the Patriots have so many points on the board.
7 catches, 80 yards for Welker.
Hey, alert! Alert!
Toss, Vereen. And Freeman is there to take him out of bounds.
Well, Jim, we were talking to Wes Welker all about catching the football. Here he comes in motion. Then he always gets a little hop step. Oh, there's another hop step, and then just beat him with speed across the field. Talked about how he changes up his releases, changes up the routes. As Tom Brady told us, he is as good or better than he's ever been.
We were talking to him about how long he could continue to play. He did another maybe 4 or 5 years. He's 31 years old. Running up the middle. Vereen within a yard of the first. If he keeps up this pace, these 100-catch seasons, and if he gets one this year, and he should have it no problem. He's well on pace for like a 120-catch season. He'll be the first to ever have 500-catch years in the history of the league. But it's starting to get like Hall of Fame-type numbers year after year.
Well, it's a new position in the NFL that's just blossomed in the last 5, 6, 8 years, the slot receiver. And it will be interesting. I hope they treat him the right way and say, oh, he was a novelty act. That was, he's a tremendous football player, period.
3rd and 2, they can pick up the first at the 2 and a timeout called by Brady. Yeah, we were talking to Wes about that. Did you ever think one day you could actually be in the discussion about maybe one day down the road being in the Hall of Fame? He said, I just wanted to one day just have a job in this league.
He was just trying to survive. San Diego Chargers, Miami Dolphins get him. He does okay. They trade him to New England, and that's where it all changed.
How much longer can he play? He said, you know what? I look at a guy like Reggie Wayne. Gives me some hope.
Yeah, it does.
I can still be productive years down the line.
Well, you know what really I think will last and why he will continue to do it, Jim, is this. He is a smaller receiver, so it is about quickness. It's not so much about straight-ahead speed, which no matter how much you train, you're going to lose some straight-ahead speed as you get older, but it's quickness. He said now it took him about a year to get over that knee injury he had last game of the year down in Houston. He's gotten over that, and he is physically big time on top of his game again.
Back to that 3rd and 2 play, and it's Vereen full steam ahead and a touchdown.
How about that? If I didn't know, I think the Colts were just going to let him score there because the game was close, but it's been tough. Pitches outside, and there is nobody to block for the lead blockers that time.
Solder, Shanko, Two players who cleared out that side. There's Shanko, one of the tight ends here. Solder, both of them.
Well, you know, Nate Solder, left tackle, so athletic. And the same with Sebastian Bowman, the right tackle. They can get outside on sweeps, and they can be lead blockers for screens.
That extra point ties the franchise record for most points in a game. 59, and we were here when they scored 59 the first time.
Tennessee?
Tennessee.
There you go.
In the snow back in 2009. It was odd because it was the middle of October that time, but here's how they've done it today. A lot of Edelman, a Talib run back. Edelman catching one, Gronkowski catching two for scores, and this was the longest interception return for a touchdown. Ridley's got one, Green's got another. I might add that Dinner, the run back, was the longest interception return for a touchdown since Darius Butler did it for the Patriots back 3 years ago. Of course, Butler on the other side of the field today, now a member of the Colts.
Well, there's so many good things to talk about. You know, we talked about Nate Solder. We saw him leading the way on that block on the sweep by Vereen. Talked to Nate Solder last year. I just randomly just remember this. Good student, went to the University of Colorado, made straight A's. He says, I made 2 B's in high school. I said, really? What were they in? Well, I can't remember the first one. But the second one's in physical education.
PE.
He made it PE. He made a B. How did it? Was he too rough? Is that what it was?
Maybe that's what it was. Took a few.
Beat up on some kids when he wasn't supposed to because he was bigger than everybody?
Gronkowski's going in with 3:55 to go. Check out a Super Bowl moment and isolate here on Adam Vinatieri. His winning kicks. You know, there have been only 3 Super Bowls that were decided in the closing seconds with a winning field goal. 2 of them by Vinatieri, and the other, Jim O'Brien. And the Colts in Super Bowl 5. Lassie, as he was called, beating the Cowboys there at the end down in Miami. Almost caught, but also almost intercepted. Here's Adam Vinatieri, one of those who shaved his head. Almost 30 Colts players shaved their head as a sign of solidarity and support for Coach Chuck Pagano. And Coach Pagano, I know you're back watching, and his whole team is fighting as hard as it can to extend the season at the end of the year and stay Chuck strong. I know it's not going the way that everyone had mapped it out here all week going into this one. There have been some great times for this team this year. The completion to Wayne. Here's a collection of many of the players who shaved their head. Coach Pagano, by the way, was at practice on Friday, made a surprise visit to the team.
Right, and then, you know, Bruce Arians told us how much it means to all the players, and of course, I know it means a lot to Chuck Pagano too.
There's Allen. Gets the defenders, picks up a first down. That previous play was a completion to Reggie Wayne, would put him over 1,000 yards receiving on the season, his 8th 1,000-yard season. Reggie Wayne, who Coach Pagano, speaking of the coach, said, take a leap of faith. Stay here. There was talk that Reggie was going to sign somewhere else. In fact, some people thought it might be New England. 1st and 10. But he decided to stay. He believed in Pagano. Next Sunday, regional action on CBS. Broncos and Chiefs, some of you will see. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Oakland against Cincinnati, or even late, Baltimore, San Diego, plus other regional action here on the home of Super Bowl 47. All starting at noon Eastern time next Sunday. The NFL Today on CBS.
Well, you know, this team, the Colts, surprising everybody at 6-3 coming in this game. But what they've learned here today, there's a whole new level of competition. And they're going against a team that knows how to win in a lot of different situations. Some really hardcore veterans.
That's the second drop today for Allen. Yeah, this was a game a lot of people talked about. It's going to be a chance to measure exactly where they were going into this big spot against a team that has been in so many big situations before. So as I mentioned, Houston now will open up a 3-game lead in the AFC South. You think Matt Schaub will have time to rest up that arm, turning around? We'll see him on Thursday up at Detroit after tying the second most passing yards in a game in league history today.
When you throw for over 500 yards, you can't wait for the next game. So Matt Schaub will be ready. There's no doubt.
3rd and 10. And Allen this time, who's having a very productive day, has the first down. It goes for 12. Allen with 6 catches for 70 yards. Lark. Intercepted. Intercepted by Wilson. The rookie from Illinois has his 4th pick.
Well, that's something a young quarterback is going to do. He tries to force it in here, tries to make a tight throw, and it gets tipped by Kyle Arrington and intercepted. You know, a veteran quarterback in a situation like this, Jim, and I'm not trying to be funny, 59-24, he's going to take no chances because he knows he can't win the game, and he's just going to look for the easy completions and see if it leads to a touchdown. So, pretty aggressive throw there by a young quarterback in a situation like this.
He gets a pat and a word of encouragement from Bruce Arians. His 3rd interception today. Got a new quarterback in here, Ryan Mallett. As Perrine loses a yard, another big day for Brady. He ties our Dan Fouts for most 300-yard games. 51 on his incredible career. And here's a little glimpse at the AFC playoff picture for the first time we've done this season. Houston with a win at 9-1, and those first 4, those are the same divisional winners out of the AFC last year. It's going to be an incredible race for those seeds. Who will get the 1 and the 2 and get that first week bye? A lot of quality teams as Mallett gives it to Perrine. First snap after the 2-minute warning. And Andrew Luck's over 300 for the 5th time, but he has had a rough go of it. Yep.
Yeah, he earned it today. New England wanted to keep him inside the pocket. They did that. He was not able to scramble outside and make those plays. And Bruce Arians, he knows he has a young quarterback, and you know, every once in a while, all you can do is pat him on the head and say, hey, this is a rough day, but you learn from this. You really do.
3rd and 9 coming up. Perrine waited, went outside, and then got tossed down by Darius Butler. Here's the lineup tonight on CBS. Again, Arnie Katayan's special report on big-time college football. What's it all about? Behind the scenes, plus the amazing race. The Good Wife, The Mentalist. It's all here on America's #1 network.
You know, if you look at this game today, Indianapolis, the Patriots did pressure Andrew Luck inside enough to help him. And the New England offense, once again, no pressure on Tom Brady. If you can't pressure him, then it's just look out. He's going to complete a lot of passes. Easy said, almost impossible to do.
Mesco. Hilton gave the fake catch as the ball settles at the 4-yard line. 199. Remember that number around here? It's a big number. That was the position Brady was selected back in 2000. Today's going to be career win overall, number 199 for Coach Belichick. And when you just take his record at New England alone, it'll put him at 162-62, and exactly 100 wins more than losses at New England. But 199 total his days at Cleveland and here at New England.
Well, a lot of good stuff for New England today. They actually can be pretty happy, I'm sure. The defensive side stepped up once after those first couple drives, and like we said many times, the offense once again put on a great display.
Carter breaks some tackles, and McCourty holds on to him. Gain of 20. And the teams, they're not going to snap it again. Brady and Luck had never met before, and now they do for the very first time right there. They did not meet in the pregame warm-ups. Patriots win it 59-24. For Phil Simms and all the crew, Jim Nantz saying so long from Foxborough. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, and right now let's go to James Brown in New York.
All right, Jim, so the Patriots improved to 7-3. The Colts dropped to 6-4.